Downloadable, licensed aerial stock footage, or book a custom aerial film package today. Visit us now at www.246drones.com. Services available in Miami and the Caribbean. Hey there! Do you have a business, product, or service that needs promoting? Well, the same way that you're seeing this commercial, thousands of others will too. This could be your business advertising right here. We can create your commercials as well as promote them heavily online. Book your commercial today by visiting www.southpointstudios.com or email us on realityweekends@gmail.com.
Welcome to the Express Bikini Store. Feel good in your swimwear from expressbikini.com. Log on to www.expressbikini.com. Follow us at facebook.com/expressbikini and on Instagram. Feel confident with expressbikini.com. Feel alive. Express Bikini. Love your body. Feel your soul.
Are you starting a new business or simply looking to boost your business? Well, look no further. BizNeeds is here for every need. Our team is here to provide you with signage, banners, flags, vehicle wraps, t-shirts, screen printing, graphic design, concept consultancy, and it keeps going. We have all you need at one stop. Quality you dream for the price you love. Call us today at 253-NEED. That's 253-6333. BizNeeds, where concepts come to life.
Alright, good evening guys. Welcome to the Price of Everything, talking to our Leaders Edition. We've got here with us today the founder of Solutions Barbados, Mr. Grenville Phillips. I almost said doctor because I hold him in such high esteem. Welcome to the show, Grenville.
Thank you.
Alright, and as he knows, this is a show for millennials to ask questions of our political leaders, to engage with our political leaders in a way that we've never really done before. And I have with me once again the yellow lovely lady in yellow, Crystal. How you doing, girl?
I am good.
Yeah, it's been a good day, at least a sunny day. So I guess that's why you chose the yellow this evening, isn't it?
Well, trying to bring a little sunshine to the room.
And I know it would have been darker if the ex-guests were going to be here. They're going to be here today.
You're right to laugh at me.
Yes, I just want to shout out South Point Studios and Reality Weekends. Our producer, Reza Milan, they're just holding the boards and making sure everything is tight. And once again, welcome in Grenville. But before we get to that, just to remind everyone, you call us at WhatsApp. It's all about WhatsApp call-in or you message. Crystal is very good at ensuring that you guys get your messages through to the guests. But nonetheless, you can engage Grenville. You realize he's not intimidating like our last couple of guests. He's someone you can talk to. And that number, add it to your contacts, +1 246 825 6536. Once more, +1 246 825 6536, and you can get to speak directly to the founder of Solutions Barbados. Grenville, once again, thanks for coming through. It's absolutely been an honor to get you here because I wasn't sure if I could have.
Yes, I'm very accessible, so I'm happy to be here. Happy to respond to any questions that come to provide as full an answer that I can.
No problems, man. And we always start off the show with the question of who is the politician or who is the person and what makes you interesting or compelling for that millennial group straight up.
Before he starts, because I know he's not going to mention it, I know he's a highly qualified engineer, and not just a qualified and intelligent engineer, he also does a humongous and tremendous amount of volunteer work. I know he had a significant hand in the Haiti project, and all of it was volunteer and pro bono, and even found out today that he did pro bono work for the Comm school investigation, and he does not mention these things. He did not tell me. I went and I found out for myself. He is very quiet about his volunteer work, but I think it's important that people know that this is the kind of person you are.
And he teaches business as well, too, how to do business through
with Walburn College.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So since I know he would not have divulged that information, I thought it was necessary that persons know that you have that altruistic spirit with you as well.
Yes, sir.
Well, since the half has not been told, I'm happy that the rest can be kept hidden. Because there's a lot of more important work that we do as well.
Yes.
But yes, I'm a qualified engineer. That's my main profession. But I'm just so concerned with the state of the economy. And I saw what happened to Guyana, where the entire middle class was wiped out almost overnight. And the bluster of the politicians is similar to what we hear now from our politicians. And the IMF warning and continuing to warn the population of Guyana, and no one is taking heed. And then the economy was just devastated, because when the IMF comes in, you're in trouble. They made them devalue the dollar. They made them double the income tax on Guyanese, just double. And the politicians just had to do what the IMF said to do. So with that result, there was about 70% of Guyanese in poverty, from being one of the richest countries in the Caribbean to one of the poorest. And we are on the brink. And I looked at my son and I decided, I don't want him in 10 years or 20 years time to look at the devastation that was Barbados and say, Daddy, what did you do? I want to say that I have done my best, hence giving Barbados a competent third alternative.
Okay. Well, that's actually a good way to start. But then to even get into what you stand for, your principles, those are things that actually matter to us, because we've so far been given, we would even talking here off the ear about one particular politician that was a bit insensitive to us, at least in today's news. Not to you, but that was a conversation that at least we had back here. And we're very interested. I find people are very interested in who that politician is and what their principles are. Are there someone who is honest, or in the very least someone that is redeemable if they cast, let's say, a sinful stone, for instance?
Yes. I've tried, I'm over 50 years old, 52 I believe.
Doesn't look like it at all, huh?
Well, I try to live a good life. So if you stay away from the young girls, faithful to your wife, don't worry with the smoking and the drinking, just trying to live right. And I do that mainly because I came to know the Lord at a young age, and I love Him, and I also respect Him. So I try not to do things that will displease Him. Like all humans, you will stumble once in a while, but the aim is to keep going towards the light, and that's what I try to do. So I don't stumble and stay in the mud and wallow there. I get up quickly, and I've learned from being a father, one thing I want to hear my son say if he makes a mistake is, Daddy, I'm sorry. That melts my heart. I'll forgive him for anything. And what I don't like is if he tries to delay coming to me. And I realize that's how my Heavenly Father treats me as well. If I make a mistake, He wants me to come to Him and say, Daddy, I'm sorry. Father, I'm sorry, I messed up. And He's willing to forgive, and He's willing to forgive everyone. So yes, I'm a Christian. However, I'm not intending to institute a theocracy, as some have said. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to worship Muhammad, well, Muslims don't actually do that. But if you want to go and worship Buddha or worship any other what you consider to be a deity, proceed. However, Barbados should be a place where we are allowed to engage each other. So I should be allowed to convince you that there's a better path. You should be allowed to convince me that yours is a better path.
Once everybody's open-minded.
Right, and through discussion, we can then maybe converge towards the truth. Because there can't be 20 truths. There's some things where there are 20 truths, but there's some things where there are not 20. Therefore, let's discuss things and maybe converge towards the truth.
Right. Well, at least it means that you're all about participation as well. Crystal, you got to have a question right now.
Well, yes, we wanted to just clear the air, because I know this is a question that a lot of people would have been interested in too, actually. The fact that other members of your party have not been disclosed, and the statement made was that they were afraid of victimization, and we've seen a myriad of responses to that, because a lot of Barbadians are aware that victimization does exist and they do sympathize. But there's another stance where persons think that if you are going to be showing that you're a force to be reckoned with and that you can rally against the existing parties, you can't have political leaders who are afraid of victimization. So we have those two schools of thought, and I'd like to hear how you would address that, and also if you have the reason as to why the fellow candidates are not coming forward to let the public get to know them from an early stage.
Yes, that's an excellent question. Our candidates are different from, I believe, all the other politicians in terms of, well, most of our candidates, they have employees. So if you're a single lawyer, you don't have any employees really.
Right.
So they're not in the same position. None of our candidates are afraid for themselves or their families. None of them. They are concerned about their employees losing their jobs. And because of that concern, they'll prefer to lie low. Actually, some of them even wanted to come out, and I said no, because I can't guarantee your employees. Because when you submit an invoice for payment, then that invoice may get placed at the bottom of the fare, right, and you will be barat. That's a new term.
Yes, if we're going to coin the al-barat term now.
Yeah, so years may transpire before. Actually, after many years, they may still not get paid. Decades may go by. So because of that, they're concerned for their employees, and so am I. And it's not just they're an employee. The employee then has a family, and they have children they have to send to school. So it's not so easy. No, in my case, I'm different because I put everyone on contract, so they can work for others, but the other fellows can't actually do that.
So then what is the plan for persons to get to know the candidates before it's time to vote? Because I myself, I would not feel comfortable voting for someone I don't know, and they actually may be a better candidate, but I simply don't know that because I don't know the person.
Or at least don't know them in that capacity, because suppose it is that he manages to get some high-profile businessman, then we may know him
already,
but not in that capacity that allows us to trust him with the public purse.
Let's say you had Kiffin Simpson.
Yeah, for argument's sake.
Just for argument's sake. Everybody knows him.
Yes.
But as a political leader, how would we know what his policies are, what he proposes to do, and what time frame are you looking at to get the public to know your candidates?
Yes. I wish we had Kiffin.
That's a long shot away, a mile away.
But that's also an excellent question. Really, on the rule. We published our solutions, our policies, our implementation plans like about 20 months ago.
On solutionsbarbados.com, by the way.
Yes.
Solutionsbarbados.com.
Yeah, so solutionsbarbados.com contains just about all of the policies that we plan to pursue. They are our promises to you, to the public of Barbados, to voters, to residents of Barbados. Our promises are online for rigorous scrutiny by the public, and if they can be improved, we'll improve them, and that's what we're running on. So even if we have what you may consider an excellent candidate, the excellent candidate can still go and institute poor policies, bad policies. So we were hoping in this election to concentrate more on this is what we plan to do as opposed to who plans to do it. Because regardless of who plans to do it, as I said, you can have very popular candidates who have done a lot of good, and yet they can ruin the country because of their policies. Now, what usually happens in Barbados is when the elections are called, maybe a week or two later, a manifesto comes out, and that's when we get to see for the first time the plans that the political party has for us, and we don't get a chance to really scrutinize them. So we look and say, well, this manifesto looks a little brighter than the other one, I think I'll vote for this party. Right? I mean, because who reads them? Very few, maybe 10%, if less than 10%.
You might be surprised this election is
People are trying to be informed.
Yeah,
so
it might be very surprised this time around. In fact, I think that's a plus for you that at least the manifesto has been out. But the question is it still relevant? Because I haven't gone on since you first published it. Huh?
Yes.
But the question now is one of relevance because the year has started with a bang from political character assassinations to literally the assassination or the current assassination of an economy. And which makes the situation a bit more dire than it might have been a year ago. So, notwithstanding if you've had the luxury of foresight, of definite foresight, meaning you saw by now that we would be CCC plus, and in the short term, they imagine that given our debt structure, we wouldn't be able to make payments on time. Right? So, considering how those factors have changed, can we expect then that same manifesto evolves to a point?
I read it entirely today and realized that there may be some modifications needed just to the economic side. And it was prompted really by Prime Minister Arthur talking about a bitter pill that we have to swallow.
Right.
I am fortunate to be allowed to write in the Barbados today, and there's an article coming out that responds to that, which I can also discuss here, because I don't believe that any bitter pill is necessary for the public. However, there is a bitter pill that the politicians must swallow, but they've avoided swallowing it for the past 30 years, and the pill is always thrust or foisted on the public.
You mind going into some detail?
Yes. But let me just finish off this other question that you had in terms of the candidates. So, we want the public to believe the promises that we make to them. We want the public to believe our promises. And that then was the challenge. How do we get the public to believe what we say after being, maybe lying is too strong a term, but after being misled or tricked for
such a long
50
time.
years. Right. Politicians release, maybe not 50 years, maybe 40 years. Promised certain things and they're not happening.
Because the current administration, they've always had manifestos, but delivering on the promises in the manifestos has not materialized, which is why knowing the candidates is seen as important. Because
that's a good reason to know them, to say, well, how likely are you to keep these promises to me?
Or if you have the skills and truth, because that's actually my biggest issue. It's not even a matter of who is. It's more so, does that person not just have a track record?
Integrity, but also the skills.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, you may not believe me, but I'm saying I've selected people who are similar in character to myself, and also people that are demonstrably competent as employers or managers. Now, I know I can't expect you to just believe that flat statement, and that's why to give the public confidence that we will do what we say, we decided to make everybody sign a contract. The reason why that contract came about is because Jesus had 12 disciples and one was Judas. But you must remember, Judas was the most competent of the disciples. He was the only disciple with a portfolio, the minister of finance. He held the money, and he was the most trusted one. So when Jesus wanted someone to get some money, give some money to the widow, sent out Judas, a very faithful and trusted employee. And had he not fell at the end, we would all be talking about Saint Judas as the ideal disciple of Jesus. Not Peter, not Paul, not John, not James, Judas. Judas will be the great hero, but because he fell, his name goes down in infamy.
And the irony is that you can look at Judas in the following way too, that someone could be of a particular character or seemingly so, but then they change on you. But how then does a contract, just to continue on to your point, how then does a contract guarantee because we are humans, people will slip up, people will have competing interests as the years go by. So imagining a Solutions Barbados government, then you've got the case where, well, let's say the same Minister of Finance that you choose decides to have an eager, if you have 30 candidates, another eager 11.
Yes.
And given your constitution, your personal constitution, you're a man, you're 52 years old, you said thereabouts. Right now, your character might very well not change so easily. So imagine if you've got a younger Minister of Finance, perhaps, who still might have room for change or room for growth.
Yes.
Then how do you assure us that no, even within your current structure, that contract has teeth? And further on, if you become Prime Minister, if you are chosen as the leader because you're a founder, if you are chosen as the leader to lead Solutions Barbados into the elections, how then do you plan to ensure that there's no more eager 11 or people backbiting or jumping across parties, that kind of stuff?
Right. And to address that, we thought, well, what could have prevented Judas from doing what he did? And that's where the contract came in.
I was thinking
we've written. Oh no, because again, Jesus chose him. So he had the potential. He was competent. He had the heart. He was a good fellow. So at the beginning, at the start, Judas was a good man, and Jesus chose him. He had a lot of potential, and he demonstrated his potential, and therefore Jesus gave him the ministry of finance, and yet he fell towards the end because of money. So. I told the fellows, we will have a contract, and because if Jesus had one Judas, if we have 30, then we have at least 3, we may have about 5 Judases. But we want Judas, right? Because Judas is competent. Remember, Jesus saw Judas and he chose him. So we want Judas. However, we don't want him to be influenced, and even if he is influenced, not to fall if he is tempted with money. Okay. So we have the contract, where if what we are telling our candidates is go on to solutionsbarbados.com, identify the solutions that you disagree with, and those that you disagree with, let me know. And if they're not critical, not a problem, because at least I know how you will vote when we're in Parliament.
Okay.
But if they're critical, then we have to say sorry, we cannot continue with you. So those who say that they agree with the critical, or most of them, or even all, those will be listed in their contract.
Okay.
And if they do not vote, whether unless it's unintentional, unless it is they got in an accident, they really got in an accident, and it wasn't intentional, not that they went ran into a wall and decided that they couldn't show up. Right. So it couldn't be going off to Trinidad because you had piles.
Right. And not piles in the old Beijing man sense, but piles of work.
Well,
hopefully.
Right. Well, if you're old enough, you understand what I'm talking about.
But no, that's why I said not in the old man sense. I was hoping not.
Okay.
I ain't heard that word in years.
Me either.
Oh, well, yeah,
that's
you're
an
young
old
then.
term.
Yeah, but go ahead.
No, but that's one of the reasons
hemorrhoids.
Right, that's one of the reasons why one fellow didn't turn up to vote.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
During the Sanderford era.
Okay.
Understood.
Owen Arthur counted on his votes, and then one didn't turn up because he went over to Trinidad because he claimed that he went to seek medication for piles.
Right.
And therefore, the whole Sandy affair, etc.
Okay. That was Bradshaw, right?
Yes. Right.
No, I remember.
Yes, well, I'm talking to young people here, so.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's right. That's it. I'm 52,
Sanchez
so
died.
I've gone through quite a few elections.
All right.
So the contract then is if you do not vote. So even if you abstain, you haven't voted. So all of that's in the contract. So that is basically ironclad. And we'll take the contract and we'll put it on solutionsbarbados.com so that those who wish can see if they can improve it, because we want it completely ironclad. If you don't vote, then you pay. We said you pay $500,000.
Whoa.
And
okay.
One of the persons came to us and said, "Well, I think it really should be $10,000." I said, "Well, I can give you that now." Right? I don't want someone from the other party come and give you $10,000 just for you to change your vote. I want it to hurt you. So because you're asking for $10,000, it is now increased to $2 million. If you do not vote, the penalty is, well, I said 1 million. And then he said, all right, let's carry it back to 500,000. I said, well, no, it's 2 million. Because even if you're considering that,
Wow.
And nobody.
you're identifying yourself as Judas.
So nobody,
So,
nobody
right.
is challenging the legality of this just yet.
No, because, well, the legality will be, if I say it's $1 billion, then a judge will say, well, clearly this is not a good contract because the fellow did not have $1 billion. However, I have to make it affordable so that a judge will look at it and say, yes, this fellow was in his right mind and 500,000 or $1 million is within his capacity. He can get it. Because once you make it completely impossible, then you can argue before a judge that on judicial review of the contract, it's not a valid contract. Because at the time of signing, the fellow could never afford $1 billion. That's why it has to be, let's say $1 million. Maybe $1 million will do. But not just that. We are saying, sign it. You sign it with us. Well, really, you're signing it with the college. Because if I'm not wrong, the college will go after the money. However, we are inviting, and we have invited other groups, Rotary, Salvation Army, whatever, have a similar contract, and they have to pay the same amount to you.
All right. So
So
then,
any group, we invite any group, come and say, come and get your money. And that's how, if the person, even if the person is a good person, a Judas, a righteous man like Judas, remember he fell down at the end, but he was good at the beginning. So if you are a righteous man like Judas, or even Thomas or James, you could be a saint, but you can still fall. To prevent you from falling, or to make you think twice, or maybe thrice, or 4 times, or maybe 100 times, you know that you're going to bankrupt yourself. So trust, that's how you trust us.
but then there's the whole.
That's why you don't need to see the people right now. Right? But you'll get to see them, and
I don't know.
hopefully you'll get to see them soon.
You see, there's something important in contract law. I don't ever remember the legal term, but basically it points to something called the notion of good faith. In other words, that a person can have a choice to break the contract if the requests become irreparable, in a sense. So in other words, something is too onerous, and therefore the person should be able to have later terms or
Yes.
later penalties in terms of breaking the contract. So case in point, say for instance that you manage to get the majority of your members to push a motion to vote for, I don't know, but you can throw eggs at people legally in the street without repercussions. But there's someone in that cabinet or one of your parliamentarians who's very allergic to eggs and wants to abstain.
Yes.
You're saying then that person should vote for something that could literally kill them.
No, not at all. That's why I said.
But
I started
according
out
to
by
him,
saying,
his candidates can afford it.
No,
It just
no.
will be difficult.
No, but I understand the moral concern.
Go ahead.
That's why we say, look at our policies, identify the ones that you cannot vote for. So we know already, you cannot vote for this, that, and that. Fine.
But suppose he develops an allergy though.
Oh, later on?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
No,
So-
but
so-
that's why you can't develop.
I know,
a
I'm saying stupid, but I'm saying that some things. I say
Yeah.
that because I've seen already on boards, and you've seen this already, where people's circumstances would have changed,
Yes.
and therefore it forces them to probably miss more meetings than is required. So the
Yeah.
question is it fair to punish them for circumstances that have changed despite them having loyal stewardship for the
Yes.
time that they couldn't have?
Right, I understand that.
So that's what he meant in terms of notion of good faith.
Right. And then it won't be ironclad.
Okay.
That's why we're telling them, look at solutionsbarbados.com, look at our policies, the ones that you cannot agree with, let us know now. Let us know now. Don't wait until we are dependent on your vote and suddenly you switch on us.
All right.
So therefore, you don't have to agree with everything that's there.
That's
but
perfect.
if you're saying, look, we can deal with corruption, and then when we're coming to vote against corruption, you are saying, well, I like this corruption. Like, you could be a good man. That's why I
Yeah.
said Judas is going for the money.
Yeah.
You could be a good man, but then they get influenced and say, well, because we say we are going to abolish this lifetime pension arrangement, because that's a magnet for irresponsible people, it seems.
So basically, you're trying to guarantee that when it comes time to put certain things in place,
Yes.
that these people will be on your side. Therefore, the public can be assured
Yes.
that the only way these people will turn against these policies is at their own personal disadvantage.
Yes, and it's not. There may be other things that we'll vote on that are not in solutionsbarbados.com.
Yeah.
They are free to vote their conscience, and that then, to me, is the only reason for wanting to know the people early. because
Right.
since there are other things,
But you've
The other
guaranteed
things-
that they shouldn't be backing out. Well,
not on the things that are published, because those
Those
are our
that,
promises.
yes.
Okay.
No, the other
Yes.
things, they're not promises because we don't know them. We haven't listed them. But our promises to the people, to the parents, children, visitors, voters of Barbados are published, and they have been published for the past 20 months. And if people disagree with them, please let us know so that we can improve them.
Okay, that's a fair point. With one thing before we go to break, there are 3 questions that I've
Yeah.
seen pop up here that would be very interesting. And one, the question I have to ask would very well lead into the break, then lead into the first question I would have seen. You know, and something for you to consider if you have to go to break.
Yes.
The structure of Solutions Barbados. So we've spoken so much about the candidates, but then I'm interested in what makes this structure so different, considering you call yourself founder.
Yes.
And what makes it different, what makes it better than what is there, number one. And number two, actually we should go to break now, so just consider this coming back. I've got the
Yes.
questions written, so. And lastly, with respect to, just to look at this other one here, ISO
ISO 9001.
9001.
Oh, very good.
That policy,
Yes.
seen it, yeah, somebody really picked that as one
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
the
because
things they wanted
that
to hear
is an
about.
industry standard that's used to measure excellence against other industry leaders.
Yes. So implementing that in the public sector,
Yes.
So how transferable is it?
yeah. So
Yeah, but I'd like to deal with this bitter pill.
Yes, we
because
have
the pill-
several questions flagged.
Yeah.
So we have the
Oh, yeah.
bitter
Because the pill is not for
Yes.
the public, the pill really is for,
for
the politicians.
all right, well we can start then after the break talking about this pill. See you guys after the break.
YouTube partner Reality Weekends presents
What in there? We have an item in there. You tell us what you feel in there.
the all-new live Facebook game show where you can win cash and many different prizes weekly. All you gotta do is guess what's in the box.
First clue, local repairman should have one.
Then call or text the answer to win awesome prizes.
No, it's not a charger. No.
sorry.
The more people to play, the more fun it gets.
We got the call.
She just won herself $50 voucher.
So tell your friends to log on to
WayneDidit.com.
and follow the Facebook page where we go live every week. So watch the show this week and guess.
What in there? What in there?
Yep, good to go.
Do you need amazing aerial footage for your next video production or commercial? Do you need custom sky photos or videos for your real estate properties, music videos, events, or sporting activities? Then 246drones.com is the perfect solution for you. Buy instant downloadable, licensed aerial stock footage or book a custom aerial film package today. Visit us now at www.246drones.com. Services available in Miami and the Caribbean. Hey there! Do you have a business, product, or service that needs promoting? Well, the same way that you're seeing this commercial, thousands of others will too. This could be your business advertising right here. We can create your commercials as well as promote them heavily online. Book your commercial today by visiting www.southpointstudios.com or email us on realityweekends@gmail.com.
Welcome to the Express Bikini Store. Feel good in your swimwear from expressbikini.com. Log on to www.expressbikini.com. Follow us at facebook.com/expressbikini and on Instagram. Feel confident with expressbikini.com. Feel alive. Express Bikini. Love your body. Feel your soul.
Are you starting a new business or simply looking to boost your business? Well, look no further. BizNeeds is here for every need. Our team is here to provide you with signage, banners, flags, vehicle wraps, t-shirts, screen printing, graphic design, concept consultancy, and it keeps going. We have all you need at one stop. Quality you dream for the price you love. Call us today at 253-NEED. That's 253-6333. BizNeeds, where concepts come to life. Are you...
Hey guys, welcome back from the break, and I just wish to invite all of you to call in, WhatsApp call in at +1 246-825-6536. Once more, +1 246 825-6536. Just WhatsApp, call us or message us. You guys have been messaging on Facebook. We've been flagging your questions. Particularly the more interesting ones that we figure can get more of Solutions Barbados out there for our public nonetheless. So Grenville, you wanted to tackle something after the break, the bitter pill you referred to.
Well, the former Prime Minister Arthur suggested that Barbados had to take some bitter medicine. And as I thought about that, I realized it wasn't the public that needs to take the bitter medicine, it is the politicians that need to take it. Because the problem with Barbados' economy can be solved without austerity, without bitter medicine, none whatsoever. There are 4 simple steps. Step number 1, we need to increase the amount of local revenue, Barbados dollar revenue. And this can be done by reducing taxes. We recommend reducing taxes to a flat tax of 10% with no deductions. No deductions. And also on businesses, 10% no deductions, because there are a lot of people who are not paying taxes. And we look at them and we think, well, they're not doing too well, but many people are doing very well. Some take home like about $10,000 a month and pay no taxes whatsoever because they're not in the system. So everybody, if you're engaged in a business, you pay 10% of your gross income taxes, individual and corporate. A lot of corporations don't pay taxes or pay very little because they're able to take their profits and spend it on more expenses, and therefore you balance out your expenses with your profit, and therefore you pay no taxes. So there are a lot of tricks that people use. This is how we get a smart accountant. So to make sure that everybody pays 10% on gross revenue with no deductions. We estimate that the government can then run with about maybe about 5%, 5-6%. However, we make it 10 because we have to pay debts.
On gross revenue.
On gross revenue.
So no expenses will be deductible.
None. Because once you put expenses there, then it becomes more challenging for the auditors within Inner Revenue to do their work, and therefore they're only able to audit very few companies because they sit in the company for weeks trying to receive information from the business, and the business is trying to convince them that this is a valid expense, and the government is saying, well, it's not a valid expense, and a lot of time is wasted. Instead of that, let me see your bank balance. Good, take 10% of that belongs to the government. So it's very simple. It becomes extremely simple for everyone. For those who are not too smart, you just take the decimal and move it one, and therefore even those who weren't very good at maths can still pay their taxes. So it's for the individual and corporate, and that deals with the local revenue, and most of our debts are in local revenue.
Right.
However, we also have a lot of debt in foreign exchange.
Right.
To address that, that's step 2. Step 2 is anyone who is earning foreign exchange, bring the foreign exchange in, and once it gets to the treasury, the central bank, the taxes are lowered to 0. There's no taxes.
Okay.
Because we need the foreign exchange now. That may not continue maybe 10 years from now, but right now we need it. Right now we're desperate, and that's why we are modifying our position, because our position previously was 5%, but because we desperately need the foreign exchange, because our foreign reserves are really low, we need people who are working overseas to really bring that money in. Don't keep it in other islands. It's very easy to open a bank account in another island, do work, and leave the money there. We want the money. I don't want to mention companies, but we need that money in Barbados. They will obviously be afraid to bring that money in Barbados because it'll be exposed to high taxes. We're saying bring it.
I think more so is the surrendering the 70% that more intimidates them than the taxes, because you can actually get a tax rebate or a big deduction if you bring in a lot of FX already.
Yes.
It doesn't wipe out your liability.
Yes.
But what it does is reduce severely what you do owe the government.
Yes.
So considering, actually I've got some other questions, but keep on going
Yes.
with your steps. Sorry.
But step 2 is zero taxes on foreign exchange earnings, because we need those funds.
On foreign exchange earnings or overall?
Only on foreign exchange.
Okay, understood.
Only on foreign exchange. Everyone else pays 10%,
All right.
which is still a reduction.
Understood. Overall reduction, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So
Step 3 is to increase the productivity within the public and private sector. And this can be done by instituting the ISO 9001 quality management system. Then we expect the inefficiencies and the wastage and the extra costs within the public sector to be reduced significantly. And the time that the private sector spends interacting with the public sector on getting services, even the public on getting government services, will be significantly reduced. So step 4 now is the most important step, because all of the gains from the previous 3 steps will be wiped out by frustrated civil servants. So civil servants who are frustrated can frustrate the process. They are frustrated because they know that they cannot be promoted unless they are in favor with the political party in power. And that occurred in the 1974 amendment. Our first 10 years of independence was our golden age. We had a professional civil service. People were promoted and selected by merit. And then in 1974, the government, the Democratic Labour Party, decided that they wanted to politicize public services, so that you're promoted by the minister, not by merit alone. And that is the root cause of all of the problems, of, let's say, the vast majority of the problems in the civil service.
Okay.
Civil servants are frustrated because they know that at any time they could be an incompetent political appointee that manages their department. So we need to encourage our civil servants. And therefore, that amendment needs to be abolished. The problems that we are having currently were foreseen at the time by the public and by the Barbados Labour Party. And the Barbados Labour Party promised us that if we elect them, they will revert back to a professional civil service. And we elected them in 1976, and we were tricked. And then we re-elected them in 1981, and in 1994, in 1999, and in 2003, and we were tricked every time. And that is perhaps the main reason why Solutions Barbados was formed. Because if they come, because the root cause of our problems is this 1974 amendment to politicize the civil service. Singapore is doing fabulously well. You know, other countries that didn't do it, but we did it, and we are in trouble. Politicians appear to prefer the economy to be completely devastated than to let go of that power to appoint their people. Even in Guyana, over 200 Guyanese dollars to $1 US, and they still will not let this go. This is something that they embrace and they will never let go. And because of that, Solutions Barbados exists. Because if the Barbados Labour Party were to come now and say, well, we promise that this time, if you elect us, this time, I would have to say, I don't believe you. I just do not believe you. If you're going to do it now. Do it right now. The next time you're in Parliament, put forward the motion. And we've challenged them to do that for the past 20 months, and they have not done it. We said, if you would do that, if you would change that, we don't need to be here. We will fold up, and that's it. We don't need to be here because you would have solved the main problem, but they refuse to do it. And because they refuse to do it, we are going to do it. And how do you know we're going to do it? Because we will be so deep in debt We will be
no
bankrupt
choice.
individually
Yeah,
if we don't do it, because
yeah.
every one of us has to pay the Salvation or whoever $2 million, right? And if you want, Jeremy, you can. The Economic Society will sign a contract with you too. We sign a contract with everybody because we intend to do it. So don't just. I wish that people will believe me when they say that, but just in case some don't, that's why the contract exists, and that's what differentiates us from the other parties.
All right, that's fair.
Because we will keep our promises.
Just one quick question that someone had when you talked about the 10%. Does that mean that you're abolishing other direct
VAT,
taxes
yeah.
such as VAT?
Yeah.
Yes, the intent is to abolish VAT within the year.
Okay.
Right, hopefully sooner, because after about 2-3 months, and we see the revenues coming in, then we will abolish VAT right away, and those who have paid it can get rebates.
Wow.
I'm still interested in this cash flow situation. I'm not saying put here, but this is not me to criticize, but rather to get information out, to get questions out.
Have some questions.
We could talk about it after.
Yes. Well, it's online for rigorous scrutiny.
All right, no worries.
And people can be as harsh as they want to in their criticism.
Perfect.
We just ask you to be polite.
All right, perfect. It's fair. It's fair. It's fair. There was another question, right? So I had asked about Solutions Barbados, and I actually forgot. Yeah, the structure as well. So how's the structure?
Right. Because we are not entertaining members per se, because we're telling people, please don't give up your membership in the BLP or the DLP. Don't. If you're afraid to take it, don't give up your membership, because we are not here to destroy those parties. We are here to show those parties how it can be done. We are here to do what they just can't do. They cannot let go of that amendment, so we are here to do it. So the things that they cannot do, we will do to show them how to do it. We don't plan to be there for any length of time. So give us 1 or 2 terms at the most, and then that's it. They can have them back again. And we also realize that we cannot compete with the other parties in terms of what they do. They've been in the constituency for years, for decades. They've been at the funerals of the man's mother.
Yes.
Right. So how can they compete with that? I mean, there was a funeral that I attended, a relative, and there was a politician who was sitting at the back of the church. Because I was a member of the family, they took me to the front of the church.
We may need to take, because calls take precedent.
Okay.
We've got our first caller. Don't just stick a pin in that. Good evening, caller. You've got Grenville on the ear.
Hey, good evening.
Yes.
I would have listened to Grenville for the last 45 minutes or so, and a lot of these causes are admirable, but in all honesty, I just want to address 3 plain questions. One, I have not heard you address how you are going to involve the young persons within this country. I feel as if we are being missing. That's one. 2, you keep mentioning we constantly all the time. This is just a comment. I honestly don't feel comfortable knowing that yes, you're tabling ideas, yes, you're tabling policies, but you're leaving out a key component within our Westminster system. You are not just one person. You get what I'm saying? Like, who's the party? Who makes up the party?
Who are your candidates, basically?
Who are your candidates?
Yeah. We spent some time explaining why the timing might be a little off, a little earlier. But I mean, if he doesn't mind repeating very succinctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the third question?
Third question, Carla.
Oh, yes. And the third question, you mentioned in your manifestos involving a Ministry of Maintenance. Wouldn't that be repetitive in the sense we already have a Ministry of Public Works? I'm a little confused there.
Yes. All right, those are really 3 very good questions. How are we involving the young people? Mm-hmm. Our policies are intended mainly to benefit young people, so that young people can prosper in this economy. Young people can also go on solutionsbarbados.com and criticize as harshly as they wish or as they can
without cussing.
Well, even if they let go a few there, we will just X them out because they're all moderated, so we will redact the curse words. But they're free to criticize what's there. I'm here. I'm always available. Contact me. I will attend any group of young people and answer any of your questions. Any.
But before you continue, I understand that, right? But you have a university in the West Indies here.
Yes.
You understand? Like, why have I know you would have spoken about your manifesto within the last 20 to 24 months. Why haven't you at least to say, show your face, talk to some young persons within the university, for example, within places where young persons were going to get a pulse? Because in all fairness, prior to today, I have not heard you in great detail since you launched less than 24 months ago.
Yes, well, we are with young people around the country. I am in St. Andrew for the next 5 weeks. I was at the University of the West Indies 2 nights ago. So I am there. What we have not done properly, I would say, is advertise a lot. And that's, I suppose, that's where we're falling down, and perhaps that's where we need some young people on board to assist us.
Public relations.
Yeah, but we've been trying to get the word out. It's not always easy. The nation has, well, I don't want to go and criticize too much, but we have, we've been told you will not be coming here anymore. We will not be giving you any. We've been shut out basically. This is not really the nation, but we've been told this, never again. So we are sort of being shut down. So all we get is like this. Here we got the opportunity here. Barbados Today is giving us the opportunity to get into their paper. The others did not. But in terms of having young people, though, as members, we think that would be okay if we were not so close to the edge, if we were not on the brink. Because on the brink, we need people who were or are employers or managers who understand the difference between being an employer and being an employee. Employees are very valuable. I was an employee, very valuable. However, an employee expects to come to work, see a desk there, have the computer, have all the tools available, have all the materials available, and have work to do. They expect the employer to find work for them to do. They expect that if they make a mistake, they won't be found personally liable for that mistake. The employer must deal with that mistake. And also they expect to be paid to fix their mistakes, right? And the employer is expected to do that. The employee expects that at the end of the month, they expect their money. They are not at all concerned that the client of the employer has not been paid. As far as the employee is concerned, look, I have work, I want my money. I want my money. So whether you have to go and rob the bank or steal, I don't care what you do, go and get a mortgage, I want my money.
And you think that disqualifies these persons from being able to have a say in how to run the country?
No. What it does is that the employer is responsible for providing all the equipment and insurance and everything for the employee. The employer has to look for work for the employee, has to look for money to pay them, has to look for money to repair the mistakes, repair relationships with clients in the event that the employee didn't get on too well. But this is the main point. When we are sitting in cabinet, I don't have time. We don't have time to explain these concepts. We want people at a certain level, right? And that's the reason. And again, I'm talking to young people here, but so I understand the pushback. But if we were not so deep in debt and we could afford to make some missteps, if we could afford the missteps, but I don't think we can afford. I think one misstep we are sunk. That's how close I think it is. I think that if we elect either any of these other two parties, we are sunk. And therefore, we are saying, those are what we plan to do. If you agree with it, no. But I thought it's coming to me now. Which is causing me to actually rethink this position right now. And that is because we said, and I'm being convicted by my own words, even as I'm sitting here talking to you, because I did say that it's not the people, it's the policies. And therefore, even if even if a young person who is not a manager or an employer, they must vote the way we're asking them to vote. They must vote. So that is why that's a good reason for bringing in young people who are not managers. The problem though with that is that when we are encountering new challenges, that we want people of a certain level. We need people of a certain level to solve those problems, not people who are not experienced in such challenges.
So doesn't that sound? I don't know. Like personally, we are creatures of habit, right?
Yes.
And it sounds to me, from my untrained ear, the untrained ear for any person, it sounds close to dictatorial, right? And on the basis where you mentioned earlier with regards to the employees and the employers, I saw a thing in your because they perused the manifesto. You also said that you want to bar public servants from being members of political parties. Can you please clarify that a little more?
Yes.
And that'll be your last question as well, Colin, nonetheless.
Yeah, and I still have to answer his maintenance question, but that's an excellent question as well, and I commend you for 4 really good questions. We had wanted to bar public servants from joining political parties as a means of protecting them from victimization, so that when it's time to send home another 3,000 public servants, someone doesn't go through and say, oh, well, he's a member of the other party and therefore let's send him home first, right? So it was a means of protecting them. However, that policy is completely up to public servants. We're going to have meetings with unions, and I expect to have them this month, where we'll discuss these things with them. And if they say, look, we don't want that provision, then we'll take it out. We'll take it out. None of the things that you see up there are firmly, well, they're sort of etched in stone, but they can be changed, which means that they're not flippant. So if you have that concern, we'll take it out, and quite a few have had that concern. So I think when we review that, I think that will come out by the end of this month. If the unions tell me, listen, they want that out, it's coming out.
But would that also
so we're not dictatorial
for
at all.
persons that are members of unions as well too? Because most political parties would have formed off the back of the trade unions. So
Yes.
does that have implications for that too?
Yeah, but that's what I said. We're going to talk to the Workers' Union, Barbados Workers' Union, C2SAB, National Union of Public Workers, and if they prefer to have that provision out, we'll take it out.
All right, so
Right.
Caller, thank you so much for your contributions
Right.
as always, and we keep on contributing online because we're tracking the questions that you're putting up for sure, right?
No problem. Sure,
All
no
right,
problem.
thanks for calling.
But let him please
Go ahead.
answer the issue with regards to the Ministry of Maintenance.
Oh yeah, maintenance. Yes.
Because our infrastructure is so high cost in terms of maintenance, we thought that it needed a separate ministry. So, however, if there are enough synergies, then we will keep it as Ministry of Public Works. But we thought that there needed to be a dedicated Ministry of Maintenance to maintain our infrastructure, so that it's around for the next 50 years without much maintenance. And also, all new infrastructure maintenance should be perhaps one of the most important design criteria.
All right. Well, thanks again, Caller, for real. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
problem.
Good night. All right. So,
There are actually quite a number of questions.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
sure if we're going to get into all, but
no, let them wrap
the
them off.
last set of comments that we saw coming in was related actually to the question I wanted to ask before we went to the half hour, and I'm glad that some persons are bringing it up. The Solutions Barbados candidates, it seem as though it is pretty much employers, which you seem to be confirming.
And managers.
And managers. The the consensus seems to be that it is erroneous to think that only employers and managers are competent ones to be able to save this country. And in terms of even employees not being held accountable, that isn't entirely true. And there are a number of employees that are sometimes the backbone of a company, and that company may not even survive without that particular employee. And they put their entire heart and soul into making sure that that company survives. And there are managers and business owners who run companies into the ground, or there's some that have successful companies only because the employees are the ones propping it up.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that, you know, the whole point is that you shouldn't be broad brushing any one category of persons and dismissing another category from being able to contribute, because you could have managers in there that the only reason they appear successful is because they've been riding on the success of their employees and appear to be successful, appear to be competent, and they're brought into this party and they're shown up because they don't have employees who are going to prop them up anymore.
Yes,
and even by your own definition, Jeremy and I would not probably even qualify for your party.
Right.
So I just would like to have that addressed, because that is not only here, but I've seen that as a very, people are very offended by that.
Yes, and I can understand why. I really can, because it's a criticism that we've had from the beginning, when we were just limiting our candidate selection to employers. And it's been a severe criticism, it's not a mild one. People have been very upset. But it's not just any employer or any manager. We're looking for responsible employers, which means during the downturn of the economy, the employers who would be benefiting during the good times would be willing to sacrifice profits to maintain employees. And I did that as an employer as well. So we want responsible employers, ones who would pay their people well, ones who will maintain their employees during downturns. And that's why we were asking for people who had maintained a business for at least 10 years. Because if you had it for 10 years, you probably went through at least one downturn of the economy. And you then have the opportunity to demonstrate, do I care about my employees, or do I not care about them and I just care about my profits? So if you just care about your profits, we don't want you. We do not want you as a candidate.
So if you had a candidate approach you who has saved their company, let's say $1 million, and they actually know employees who have done these things, if you had someone like that who's had a history of high performance, who whenever they're called upon, they do whatever is necessary to help keep that company afloat.
But they must maintain employees. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. It's not a matter of making money during the downturn. You have to keep employees. If this
kind of candidate had to approach you, they would not be able to be a member of your party?
No, they would not. They would have to be able to. Remember, we want a environment. We want our candidates to have experienced an environment where they had to look after employees and their families. Because as politicians, they'll be required to look after the public. Right. So they had to have that experience. And therefore, if their first thought in a downturn is, let me get rid of employees to sort of save on expenses, we do not want you at all. Right? So, and if you come, we will shake your hand and listen to you, but we will send you on your way. You will not be a part of this party at all, because your employees will then come out and say, that employer is not a good person.
I got a bit of a joke. I think it was intended to be a joke when they saw the comment, right? But the comment is, you mentioned earlier that you no longer have employees, that you do contract work. So by definition,
you yourself don't even qualify for your own party.
No, once you were, remember the idea is, once you were an employer or a manager, you don't have to go on currently.
And a rich one as well too, because you have to be able to put up $1 million.
Oh yeah, you know.
That is a very good, insightful comment, because we need to amend the contract so it's flexible enough that those who are not in such a good financial position, they will pay a lesser amount. However, it will still be a high amount cumulatively, because there will be many contracts. You know, there'll be one with us, there'll be one with Economic Society, I guess. Crystal, if you have a company, we'll say one with you, and therefore everybody will get paid, and therefore we have a strong reason not to break our promises, not to go down the road that Judas went down.
I don't have a company, so I would not be able to.
Well,
yeah, but it's too.
I am clearly not competent enough.
This reminds me, honest to God, right? The way how this conversation is going, it reminds me of when certain people couldn't vote because they didn't own land.
Yes, that actually, yes.
It rubs me, not that it's the wrong way, but no, because it seems as if I do, maybe if I've got some community experience. So case in point, Errol Barrow is considered to be our greatest. Wasn't even in he wasn't even a practicing lawyer for that long before he became a member of the he founded the DLP, but he was in the BLP. And Tom Adams, I think Tom Adams didn't even really have a job outside of politics. And he's considered to be the one that transformed Barbados. Barbados made its biggest leaps and bounds, not under Afra, but under Tom Adams. And then you had Arthur that at best worked in Jamaica when everything went to hell and had to run back to Barbados, as some people say. And was a politician basically full-time while working within the ministry, and he's the one who presided over the longest period of economic prosperity that we ever had. So
and the greatest amount of debt.
I know that side of the argument. Don't mind that. I mean a lot of off the book debt and whatnot. Right, that came to book because of the change in the accruals in 2009. Or rather the acceptance of a accrual system in accounting. So with that being said, yes, we can measure their effectiveness differently, but under the system proposed right now, you would have missed some of these great minds, or let's not say great minds, because I don't wish to adulate them in any great way, but you would have missed some of these critical minds that were responsible for some creative means of growth. And I think what's happening is, because my opinion is actually, my personal opinion is less so about who and what that criteria, because that's your policy, right? That's your or rather that's your party's policy or your group's policy, and therefore I respect that. But I can see here, because normally we get thousands of views, and as soon as this came up, I mean it was hot. I can see that could be a back-breaking thing with respect to a youth vote, because we get a large where it seems like it's an elitist group or an elitist group. That's the word that just popped up.
That's the word that
just popped up. It seems elitist, although in its pure definition it may not be. I see your merit as one of practical experience of managing as opposed to probably working, because it can be a great worker, but not necessarily a great manager of people. So I understand that's where you're coming from, where you're looking for a manager of people, but I think that can probably come out in other criteria outside of having business management skills. And again, I'm open to learning if that's possible, if that's something that has been considered.
Yes. So ideally, we would have wanted all employers, and we stopped inviting employers at the end of last year, and then we opened it to managers. If you managed anything, whether it is a department or an organization or a club, any type of management experience, then we want you.
Okay.
So I don't see it as elitist, because if you have any type of management experience, we want the manager, not so much the managed. Now, if after probably May, by the end of May, and we don't get enough managers coming forward, then we will say whosoever will may come.
But then that changes the whole philosophy of the party.
No, not really, because
and we're the leftover hope.
No.
You better manage that message very carefully.
Yes.
As I said, yes.
Just try to bring forward to you so that you're prepared.
So it's not the scraps. It seems like that. I understand, and I apologize in advance that's how it sounds, right? And again, it actually sounds like it. But that's just the reality of it. The reality is we're in so much trouble as a country. I don't think we understand how much trouble we're in. So we're in so much trouble that we need people with some experience. Well, the most experienced and caring persons, the ones who have been most prepared and who have been most prepared to manage an economy. Not the employee, but the employer. Not the managed, but the manager. So those have been most prepared to manage. Now, again, if you were not in so much trouble, then yes, anyone can come. So the idea is, by probably about May, we will then open it up to everyone, but again, we'll more trouble again, but those cabinet members, we would like to be employers or managers.
All right, so a bit of an acrimony, right?
Yes.
A bit, or rather, let's take it away from this acrimonious point.
Yes.
A bit. Guys,
it's a good point. It's a valid, very valid point.
It's not as if we could go on the whole night and it would literally be in circles. My question, and I almost forgot it, has more to do with if you view other professions as having the skills necessary to assist in this philosophy. So I see some people talking very much about, well, what about lawyers? I know lawyers can hire people, so that may fit your definition there. Outside of just their law experience or experience with the law, successfully or otherwise. But then if you look at the economists, most economists don't run businesses.
Correct.
Most professional economists, just by our risk-averse nature, that it doesn't necessarily apply to me, but the profession itself is rather risk-averse, and therefore most of them would rather just tie their money up with T-bills and land and live like that. But does that then preclude them or exclude them, from being able to make a meaningful contribution to the vision and the philosophy of this party?
Everybody at this point can, no matter whether they are professionals or non-professionals, employed or unemployed, managers or managed, they can all go on solutionsbarbados.com and try to improve what we plan to do.
But not
because
being a
that's
party
what we
member.
plan to do.
What about party member? I'm
Right,
talking about a candidate.
Right, now in terms of being party member, at this point it's employers and managers. By May, yes.
Okay.
By May, yes.
So they're sticking to that point. All right,
Right.
no problem. No problem.
Right.
No problem.
Because we have to do it this method, and I apologize for doing it this way, but if we were not in so much trouble, I tell you.
You're trying to
right
make
now
sure
we
that
need-
you have the persons you feel might best be able to help us out of our situation.
Yes, because if we have, let's imagine it was 1,000 years ago, and
And you don't have
some
the
people were-
luxury of being able to make mistakes.
Yeah, no, but a army was coming against us, and therefore we need some people to go to the front to fight the army, and other people to go and shepherd people and get them to safety. We want our best warriors out there fighting, and they'll probably be sacrificed. They'll probably be sacrificed and torn apart.
Right.
But I want our best out there willing to do that. And who's willing to do that? Employers should be. Will we survive it? After being exposed to the B's and the D's and whoever else? I don't know. But we are willing to sacrifice the next 5 to 10 years of our life doing this.
Okay, so the next...
And I don't want to call a student and say, all right, student, you come on the front line, just for him to go out and get mashed up, and we got to go and take care of him.
That student might be a damn good negotiator, though.
Okay, maybe, but we're talking, as I said, thousands of years ago, we'd be talking about arrows, hand-to-hand combat. We want our biggest, so I probably won't be there. Right?
Well, here's the thing, now. So, do you? And I'm sorry to make it sound like a cross-examination, but
please,
all right. But all right. Do you believe generally that employers in this country have great relationships with the union?
I don't know, but that's why.
I mean, what's your belief? Not the fact.
They do.
What? So people out there, we're not speaking fact. We want to get an opinion at this point. So yes,
well,
do you believe so?
Essentially, I honestly don't know, because I've never worked for a company that had a union. Yeah, it was unionized. So therefore, I have no comment really to make on it. Well, I can make a comment, but it won't be an informed comment. I'll just be speculating.
Okay.
And therefore, it'll probably be wrong.
And do you believe then, secondly, that our private sector has a character of diplomacy, not necessarily being nice or being, let's say, quiet, but diplomacy? Do you think that that's something our private sector is good at typically, and our leaders in our private sector?
I think both public and private sectors can be managed a lot better. We've had challenges because managers have not been in an environment where they can manage properly. That's why we are hoping that there is a standard for management, and that's the ISO 9001 quality management standard. Right. If you operate within that environment, it should be a lot better than if you're outside of that environment. And if you're operating in that environment, then you could always improve it further. But to be outside of that, that means you're just relying on the management skills of the manager that happens to be there, and maybe they do a good job, maybe they don't. Maybe they're kind, maybe they're not kind. But the thing is that even if they're not kind, if you are operating within ISO 9001, even if you're not kind, the employee should still be fairly satisfied, regardless of the character of the manager.
All right, so before we get there, because there's a reason I asked those two direct questions. A yes and no would have been great too, but nonetheless, your answers are admissible. So the reason why, if it were that we believe that employers had great relationships with unions in this country, then the model for me of the party works with respect to the social partnership. effectively leading the social partnership. But yet, a lot of people think there's acrimony going on with the public sector more so.
Yes.
So you're starting from a position where it's acrimonious.
Yeah, clearly in the private sector. Clearly.
Right, clearly on that end, because they don't really come out with the private sector despite what some may believe is happening behind closed doors.
Yes.
Now, the next thing is the whole training of diplomacy. Now, I believe people are highly trainable once they're committed and incentivized. But do I feel safe that by February 2018 that our foreign minister is a businessman who doesn't know how to communicate with a politician at that level? Because we're seeing right now, and Trump is a pretty much an extreme, all right? But Trump cannot, in my mind, select people, and he hasn't been selecting people who capably, maybe good private sector people, but they're really bludgeoning it when it comes to, or messing it up when it comes to diplomacy. And for us to get out of this situation, a lot of it depends very carefully on how we manage our diplomatic relationships within CARICOM, number one, and without CARICOM. Yeah. So for me, I wonder if this is a major mandate of the party, one of diplomacy, where just like Guyana has economic diplomacy, part of why this deal with Exxon is really kicking off is simply because David Granger said to Carol Greenwich, who was the Minister of Finance under Hoyt. Right? So he was the one responsible for devaluing the dollar. And basically the people from his party, I almost said PPP down there, says, well, APNU, that he's the one that stopped the bleeding in Guyana. So he's now the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and all he does is travel and sign contracts and try to force investment into the country. So this whole mandate of economic diplomacy is one I think struggling countries like Barbados has to actually do. So for me, just to wrap up, how do you see this party, this new structure really fitting into the social partnership? That's important going forward. And secondly, how do you see it with respect to diplomacy? Do you have a regional position? Do you have an international position that can harm us or could be beneficial, considering that you're trying something entirely new, never ever really done anywhere else before?
Right. As far as the social partnership is concerned, we are hoping that that would no longer be necessary. If we do all 4 steps that we talked about,
right,
then they shouldn't be necessary. The reason why it's necessary is because we have this built-in tension, because civil servants don't believe that they can get ahead unless they are in favor with the political party in power, and that's a serious thing. So I think if you abolish that amendment, because there was no social partnership in our first 10 years, our golden age, because the civil service was professional. If it returns, if it becomes professional once again, I don't think there is a need for a social partnership. So that's that. Right. As far as diplomacy is concerned, we are in the position that we should use the best in Barbados. We should identify the best. The best does not have to be a minister. Whoever the best is, we identify them, and they are used. Not used in a bad way. They are used to represent Barbados.
Understood.
Yeah. So we're not. And they are very good civil servants as well that we can call upon. But certainly we look to use the best in Barbados, because we're too small a country to use the politics of inclusion in a divisive manner.
Okay.
Which is unfair in the group of which the fellow came out of.
Understood. Yes. Understood.
Well,
let me just clarify that.
Okay.
Mia Motley is a very good speaker, and she has represented Barbados. I was very proud when she represented Barbados on the international stage, both with the mandatory sentencing and in the agreement with the oil maritime boundaries. She was excellent, and she should be used whenever possible without having her resigning from the BLP. So you stay within your party, but you come and do whatever service you need to do, but still
So cooperation.
you still represent your party, right? She can still represent her party and still represent the government. We are too small to have our excellent people
Divided up.
It's divided up and not used for 10 years or 5 years. It just doesn't make any sense.
That I can agree
Right.
with.
So to me, it's utter rubbish. Right? It's utter rubbish that we would have people,
Great
really good
political
people,
leaders,
just
but
having
because
to
they're on the
sit down
opposition.
because in the opposition. Ridiculous. Or you have to be an independent like Owen in order to be used.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
Right.
politics of inclusion.
We don't want to damage irreparably, but we don't really want to damage the existing parties. We just want them to learn how they should have done it, and therefore just continue on from what we do. Knowing also that if they ever go back to their old ways, we'll come back.
Well, that's
Right.
leading into one of the questions from the audience and modify it a bit. They are trying to find out what disciplinary committee you have in place to help ensure that persons are held accountable, just to summarize what they've said.
If they don't vote the way that they promised, they will be bankrupt. And if you may say,
Well, not just
you will not
limiting
go
this
after
to
them.
your candidates, but if you will be then in charge of the civil servants.
Oh yes.
So, what disciplinary measures from PS
Yeah.
to right down would you have in place?
You've got a really good audience.
Yeah.
This is so
Yeah.
far the best audience.
They're engaged. They're
Really,
very
it's a
very
engaged.
engaged group, huh?
Because again, I've had audiences, and I tell you, but this is unless you're filtering the questions.
No.
This is
you
really,
can go back on when
really
you finish
good.
and check them for
There are
yourself.
lots
Okay.
of questions we haven't even gotten a
Okay.
chance to answer yet.
And I'm willing. After this, I will go online and I'll respond to everyone.
Oh,
I will
alright.
respond
That's
to
great.
every single one.
That'd be very good.
So if you don't get on,
Play
not
nice
to worry.
guys. Play the guys.
Also, I'm willing to be here until 3 o'clock in the morning.
What?
But I know that you may have to go home.
You go to good church.
So that-
You go to good church.
I can still function if I get a little bit of sleep.
Functioning Christian. Nice.
So that question, I know it was a really good question, but it just dropped out of my head.
Disciplinary action.
That's it.
Accountability.
We actually published this online. A response to that question. Any public servant that engages in any type of victimization will be dismissed and lose their pension.
Wow.
And there is provision within the laws of Barbados to do that. It's just that we haven't done it, right? So
Okay.
during our first 10 years, I said it was our golden age, our golden age, and then we decided we're not doing this anymore. We are politicizing our civil service, and therefore we are in this mess that we find ourselves. But according to the laws of Barbados, if you're dismissed, then a recommendation is sent to the Governor General where you lose your pension. So we will make that very explicit and make sure the public servants understand this, that if there's any, what will qualify for dismissal will be victimization in any form.
Right.
So if you are delaying an application or you refuse an application, you're dismissed and you lose your pension. If you frustrate the ISO process, you lose it. If you don't approve something, because of political interference, then you lose it. So the reasons for it will be made explicitly clear, so that when people are doing it, it's not that they don't know that they're doing it. You know you're intentionally doing it, and therefore you will lose your pension. If you want to, and we expect then, if there are or wives who are civil servants, then their husbands will tell them, look, don't lose it. And the wives will also tell their husbands, if the husband is the one who's a civil servant, the wife will encourage him, listen, don't you ever do something to jeopardize our household. Don't you ever do it. And therefore, even if he's tempted,
reasonable way
right,
out of that.
right. So even if some political leader on the opposition then would tell him, listen, frustrate this process, he would think twice, because he would be like a Judas, and he'd be thinking of the money that he will lose.
So everything is really financial. It's all about financial penalties.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's how we intend to change the criminal justice system.
Keep going, because I wanted to get there. Yeah.
Right. Every offence will carry a fine.
Right.
Every offence.
Even if you're broke.
No, you'll still carry a fine. So if someone, let's say, stole a cell phone, then the fine is 10 times the value of the offense, which is the replacement value of the thing that you stole or whatever it is. The value to make it right. So if you stole a $700 cell phone, you owe a fine of $7,000 because you have to make it so that the thief knows that it is cheaper to buy his own phone than to steal yours.
What about if the chief doesn't have any money at all?
If the chief doesn't, if
Not
the thief,
right.
yeah.
Sorry.
Right. If
Doesn't
the
have any
thief
money at
does
all.
not have any money, then we will make provision. We will find some work for him. And there's a lot of work in maintaining our infrastructure.
So you got hard labor for stealing a cell phone.
Yes, and basically you clean the street, whatever, and you're not paid, whatever, $150 a day, as others are. You're being paid maybe $25 a day.
I know, I feel like
But
you
you
would
gotta-
support this.
Yes.
You believe that criminals that serving sign up at Dodds should be planting cane and planting food and whatnot.
We do not
right?
want anyone who has not committed a violent offense to go to Dodds. They should just pay their fine and go. And if they can't afford to pay their fine, their
You
parents...
say not committed.
No,
Oh,
not.
Okay.
We don't want any non-violent offenders in
Okay.
Dodds.
Okay.
Dodds should be reserved for violent offenders only, or those who just refuse to pay their fines.
Interesting.
So there are a lot of people who are in Dodds, and I was talking to, because I do work at the prison too, but I was talking to
Yeah.
some of the fellows in there, and they said, look, they would like, if it was a violent offense, because we're saying if it's a violent offense, you go to jail, right? 3 years minimum. So if you stole a cell phone and used a knife, 3 years minimum, because you need 3 years to get rehabilitated,
Okay.
right? However, if it was some funny situation and the victim of the crime were to say, all right, he could get off after 2, then that should be something that the judge should consider.
Okay.
So the judge should consider the opinion of the victim, because maybe the victim could be the brother, right?
Agreed. Oh,
It could
agreed.
be a family member.
But you
So
know,
we have to make some provision in the event, or the cousin. And he said, well, his head just got hot, when he drinks, he takes some drugs, he gets stupid and
Right,
this
right,
and this
right,
stupid,
right.
and he didn't mean it. I know he didn't mean it, and therefore the victim should have a say in the sentence.
Right,
But
okay.
really, our minimum sentence, unless the victim speaks up, is 3 years, and for a repeat offence, 10 years.
I hope that
we don't want the violent on the streets.
I hope that the justice system, criminal justice system, actually works with you as well, because the judiciary, it can be, it's supposedly independent of the executive and parliament. But here's a question, since we are on this whole issue of criminal justice and whatnot. So we've had several politicians come through, all of them come through, and we asked them about some radical proposals and where they stand with them. Now I know that you personally are Christian, and therefore I'm likely to assume that you may not want to be that radical. But what are the positions of Solutions Barbados with respect to the decriminalization of marijuana? And then last night we had on Dale Marshall, and
Yes.
we asked a question about buggery. I think that was somebody in the audience
Yes,
that asked
somebody
about
in the
buggery.
audience.
Something as
Call.
with respect to the buggery laws, one that's little enforced, but yet is there and is quite harsh, and it can be quite demeaning for persons of a different sexual orientation or preference. So I don't know where the party stands with respect to that, but these people
Right.
also that hold positions on these radical things, radical ideas in a sense, are voters, and they're a little more open, it seems, to voting on the premise of this kind of progression.
Yes.
So the question to Solutions Barbados is, where do you stand with respect to decriminalization of marijuana and marijuana byproducts such as hemp? And lastly, to not anal but banal laws such as
Yeah.
buggery, the buggery
Yes.
law and whatnot.
I understand.
Yeah.
And again, excellent questions. I mean, it's just like 10 for 10, whatever. Really
you.
good. And I'm not just saying that, to influence you or
No problem.
false modesty. Or they really are excellent questions. And actually, we may take these and put them on our frequently asked questions page because they are really good.
Thank you.
In terms of, right, the first one you inquired about,
Marijuana,
right,
Marijuana.
decision.
right. We have no problem in legalizing marijuana for medical purposes, none
Okay.
whatsoever. It's just that we have a challenge in understanding smoking it. Lungs were designed for air. Even when you go next to a smoking area, a lot of smoke comes in from burning bush or whatever. your body wants to expel it. Your lungs are trying to expel it. It's not natural to have that smoke. No, your body is able to adapt to many situations. But I don't think we should be forced to adapt to that. So I don't agree with that. So we are not looking to allow the smoking of it, which can get people high and therefore get them unproductive.
Well, you said medicinal use.
But
What about by products such as hemp? So like someone here said that they drink hemp milk. I put hemp in my ear.
I wish Greg Mosley would call in because he has a very huge push. He's been on TEDx discussing the benefits of hemp and hemp byproducts.
Oh yeah,
so
you sure you know. No, but we ain't really got that much time. But
I know, but Greg, if you're listening, you could call in quickly. It'd be much appreciated.
Yes, sir. +1 246 825 6536. But sorry, go ahead, Greg.
Right.
Go ahead, yeah.
Once there are structures in place to prevent the abuse of it, no problem. Right. So if it's brought in a controlled manner and it's prescribed by doctors, so that you don't take too much of it and go crazy. For certain persons, I have no problem with that. If you want to bring it in and therefore to make materials, once it is treated in a manner that is not smoked and abused, no problem with that. But I don't want someone to take the hemp clothing and suddenly smoke it. So you got to treat it in a manner that is not abused, because we need productive people. We need people to participate in Barbados' economy. We don't need people on the block not working. If anything, go on the block after you finish working.
So you might ban alcohol then?
Because that one, so unfortunately, I know there's a hypocrisy type thing.
It is a hypocrisy.
Yes, it is, yes.
Because alcohol has killed more people than weed.
And we export it and all that. So we don't think, honestly, we don't, but people who drink, sorry, it's really crazy, this one.
I guess you're not taking communion tomorrow.
No, we take juice, non-alcoholic. But that one needs more time, really. I don't think we have time to discuss that one. But I would be happy to
come back?
No, if you extend this to 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll discuss it as long as you want.
Well, it's within formats.
Right, so I'll bring me back. I'll talk about that one at great length. But yeah.
Well, the producer says another 15 minutes there about.
Right, and I still haven't talked. I really want to talk about corruption.
Corruption.
Yes.
A serious one. But as far as homosexuality is concerned, all right, I believe that homosexuals and any other group are free to participate in Barbados' economy without any fear of retribution.
Right.
Therefore, without being fired or persecuted in any manner. Now, we've had the experiment in the US, because as far as legalizing it, personally, I could think, well, why not? Why not? But we've had the experience in the US. So what happened with the US? As soon as they got the same-sex marriage law implemented, the first thing that they did was to go after Christians and persecute them. The only people that have been persecuted under that law are Christians. They've been locked up, they've been fined, their businesses have been fined. So we can see what their actual agenda was. Their actual agenda.
But those are hardline. Those are hardline fundamentalists.
Doesn't matter. Not hardline. I think there's people that decided, look, I don't want to say bake a cake for your wedding.
Yes,
I remember.
However, you are able to go to the fellow down the street and get the cake done, who is not a Christian and has no difficulty whatsoever. But because I'm a Christian, I have no problem with baking the cake for your birthday. But for marriage, because I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, I don't want to bake the cake.
So Christians' beliefs became compromised because they did not want to engage in something that conflicted their beliefs.
Yes, and what they did then is target them only. Did they target the Muslim who believes the same thing? No. They were afraid. They're cowards. They didn't go for the Muslim. They went for the Christian. Why? Because the Christian was simply turned the other cheek and whatever. So they went after Christians, and the Christians are the only people who have been persecuted, who've been fined, and who've been jailed because of this law. Okay. And therefore, since that is the experiment in the US, they can blame their colleagues in the US for why we will refuse and object to it in Barbados. And that's the main reason for not doing it. We were looking for a country, I guess, to do it. The US did it, and we see the result. The result is, and I've heard this when I discuss it with them. They explain a anger towards Christians for being told that they believe it is wrong, and therefore they say, all right, well, we'll take it out on. Well, they demonstrated in the US that they take it out only on Christians, not on Muslims.
Right. No problem. And then you also
So it's too much of a risk. As in a small country like Barbados, it's too much of a risk. However, they should be allowed to participate in our economy without fear of persecution.
So no to cocoa, basically.
I don't know those current terms.
Don't worry about it.
It's good that you don't know who Coco is.
Don't worry, the audience will get this. Don't worry. It's not the cocoa.
Well, Coco can do what he wants to do, just don't do it in public.
You employ that cocoa as a heat.
Well, I don't know then. I don't know these matters.
No, don't concern yourself with such matters.
Concern myself.
But the
too high for me.
But you also were wanting to speak about corruption, but somebody had asked the audience, from the audience, had asked about the education system.
Yes, I wanted to get to that.
What are your views with respect to education? You could tie that in with
educational
corruption
reform.
as well, yeah.
Yeah, the educational system we think should be modified significantly. Right now it is mainly for, if you're going to call it the elites, I've heard that term. I don't like to use that term, I hate that term. But it's mainly for those who do well. That's the better term. Not elites, because they are children of elites that do very badly. It is the educational system is set up for those who do well, who really don't need a teacher, the bright ones.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
I wasn't too bright. If you look at my report card, you will have difficulty identifying the mark from the percentage, because I was not a bright fellow. Right? But they will always say on my report card, he tries. But I just couldn't understand. It took me until fourth form to begin to understand the work.
Same here.
So the system is not set up for people like me. However, everyone understands the practical aspects. So what we're recommending is teach the practical aspects first. Teach conversational Spanish. Do the experiments. Teach music by
How to do
ear.
taxes.
The easy stuff, right? And for the what?
No, just this is something a lot of young persons were commenting as well, that you learn a lot of stuff in school that you never use, and then you come out not knowing how to do very basic practical stuff.
Right. Yeah. But they teach that later, in fifth form. Right. But you need it. So the first 3 years should be spent on the practical aspects of the subjects, applied mathematics. Business, how to start a business. You should come out of school with this marketable skill. With the accounting skills or the business skills to manage your business. Basic. And you do that in the first 3 years.
How to do a tax return.
Right. But a lot of that the tax return maybe is a little later. But the fun aspects, tax return isn't fun. So you do all the fun aspects in the first 3 years, and then do all the theoretical stuff, the theoretical maths, the theoretical chemistry and biology and all those, in the last 2 for the CXC syllabus. And therefore, in the first 3 years, you're happy. It's just a lot of fun. And therefore, the bright people and those not so bright will benefit. Whereas the current system, only the bright benefit. And the bright are about 20% or so of our population. And therefore, 80% don't get through.
So you
and 60% come through.
Model.
Yeah, the what? The Swedish model?
Well, not Swedish. You mean Scandinavian, so across the board. Finnish, Swedish, then Danish.
Right. Again,
Sweden's supposed to be
Norwegian.
leading in the Scandinavian model.
Yeah, but I haven't studied that. What it is I knew how it was for me, and I was saying, well, how would that have benefited me? And I teach a lot of people who were really at the bottom. At the bottom, they never graduated, they never went through, got past third form. So I teach a lot of them, and I can't teach them. Like I can teach anyone to play the keyboard in 15 minutes. Right? Once you understand something, you can teach it in a way that people understand. And I teach things in a way that people understand. Some people who can't even read, they get to understand. And our to put a plug here, our courses for Walmart College, you need to get a minimum pass mark of 100%.
I know.
You cannot get anything wrong. Right? Because you cannot take good quality sand and cement and stone and mix it with water and put it in timber forms with steel reinforcing bars and forget to compact the concrete. Or forget to cure the concrete after that. So if you get any critical step wrong, you failed. Fellow comes to me and says, I got 98%. I say, yes, but you failed. We do not charge anyone for retaking the exam or taking the exam. Anyone can walk off the street and take our exams.
So you're trying to get rid of jobs. I purposely being controversial because the reason why quality assurance is supposedly in this current industrial setup, best then when you have groups. So somebody to ensure quality, somebody to do the work. So basically you're merging by treating,
Yes.
by merging, so you're getting
Yes.
rid of layers of unnecessary labor.
Yes.
Is that the
Because
great
if
plan?
the person
No, so-
double checks behind himself and make sure they're getting
Yeah,
everything
that's it.
right, you will need somebody to come back and check.
Exactly. You want to need a supervisor,
Right.
really.
And then when people come and tell me, well, Mr. Phillips, we want you to inspect the work of this contractor, I say, listen, once you choose a graduate of the college, you don't need me. You don't need me.
And I will say, from attending your seminars that you would have held with BRC that were absolutely free to the public, and there were multiple seminars, the feedback I got from the majority of persons there was that your seminars were very easy for people who've never been
Great.
involved in construction to understand.
Yes.
So I can actually personally vouch that he's a very good teacher.
Right.
Very
Well,
good.
I help. I
Very
try.
clear, very clear. At least to me, I
Right.
could guarantee.
So corruption,
Oh,
though,
yes,
corruption.
Yes.
Well,
Integrity.
right, first, because I know maybe a lot of lawyers are listening because they want to go and get a piece of change, there is no corruption in Barbados. Right.
Clearly
there is
not.
none. Right,
None.
there's none. Right,
Absolutely.
That protects ourselves. Now, there are accusations of a corruption, and we need to deal with these rumors of a corruption. So this is how we will deal with the rumors of corruption, because we want in 1 year that we will be on the top of the transparency,
Yes.
international's list, the most favorable end. We will be the least corrupt country on the planet.
Allegedly.
Well, no, this is how we will do it. Anyone who has paid or received a bribe is given a period of amnesty for the first 3 months after we get in. And the amnesty is sort of an amnesty of sorts, where you come in and you pay the fine of the amount of the bribe that you either gave or received.
Right. Okay.
So if you gave or received a bribe, you come in and you pay the fine, and that fine is whatever the amount that you paid or received. After 3 months, and your name is recorded, and you have to come and say who gave it to you or who did you receive it from. After 3 months, and there are a lot of construction companies around the world that give bribes as a means of doing business, and we know that because in court cases they say that's just a cost of doing business in the
Yeah.
developing countries. In developing countries. After 3 months, we will enact whistleblower legislation, and therefore anyone who knows, can provide any evidence of someone giving or receiving a bribe, you come and you get your reward of the penalty, which is the full value of the bribe. So if someone received $100,000 or gave $100,000, the whistleblower gets $100,000. However, the fine increases to 10 times the value of the bribe. So the person then pays $1 million. So they have to go and sell one of the houses.
Right.
At the end, now this will encourage a lot of people to come in and pay their bribes, especially contractors, because the contractors, if they are guilty of bribing, they go on to the World Banks or Inter-American Development Banks blacklist.
So last question to Chris
Where,
just popped up.
where they cannot compete in the economy or on a World Bank projects for the next 10 years or 15 years. So we will tell people, once you've paid your fine, it is as if it never happened. You pay your fine, it is as if it never happened. Anyone talking about it, you can sue them for defamation. But you come and pay your fines, and it's kept secret. And after 5 years, and it's written down, it's not online, it's not a place where someone can hack it in. So therefore we have a very, maybe the bishop or someone who's accustomed to holding secrets, they would then keep the logbook. Because if you want your sins forgiven, you make sure that your name is in the book of life, in Jesus' book. However, if you want your crimes dealt with, you come and put them in our book. And if your name is in our book, you are safe. Once your name is in our book, you are safe. If anyone brings it up, you can go after them for defamation. However, after 5 years, the book will be burned.
Okay, so you get it expunged
As
after
if it
5 years.
never happened, right? Therefore, people, anyone who believes that there's corruption in Barbados, you have 5 years to come and talk about it. Otherwise, no more, right? And therefore, there would be a general amnesty for anyone who is engaged in corruption from 5 years hence. However, the statute of limitations during while we are enacting this is going all the way back to independence. So anyone engaged in any corruption from the day we were independent up to 5 years after we were elected come and get it sorted out.
This seems like a very good environment for snitches, and also
Come and get your money.
That's the but on the
You
side,
have a lot of questions
Yeah,
coming
go
out
ahead.
to that.
Yeah, so
so
there's some
one
practicality.
is, where's the money coming from? Because you said that they will be getting 10 times the
10
amount.
times the value of
Where's
the
that money coming from?
person that paid the fine.
If they cannot pay the fine,
Then
where is that money coming
The,
from?
then
Get
their
the house.
assets will be sold and the
Get the
fine will
house.
be paid.
Get the house.
Right? The fine will be paid. Otherwise, just like those, you're going to understand, just like those, the fellow who stole a can of sardines, right? For the $2.50 or whatever it is, and he has to pay $25, 10 times the value of the offence. The same way that he has to pay it,
They
the
should be paying
person
the
has
10
to pay
times
it. Right? Obviously, it's called, they have to pay it. And if they don't pay it or they refuse to pay it,
They
then
go to prison.
No, they don't go to prison. You will find work for them to do.
All right. So
And
what
if they don't want to do the work or refuse to do the work, then they go to prison.
And
And where they are
you
managed,
see one
they
by
do
that
the
guy,
work.
Jonathan, right?
yes,
Check that
he was
one.
saying, he was asking about the corruption that has nothing to do with bribery. There are other forms of corruption.
Well, what are they?
So,
All right. Well, bribery implies that money is being
Being
passed,
passed.
right?
Yes.
So what about if you just favor somebody? Say, for instance, that, well, I won't put this on your character. Say it was Prime Minister, for instance,
Yeah.
and I happen to have a sexual relationship with a contractor, a female contractor,
Okay.
right? Because we realize that
Okay.
buggery thing in flying inside this room today. So the female contractor.
this
so,
person gets all the work.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This person can get all the work, but it doesn't come back to me because all I get from this person I can prove materially is some very good sexual intercourse. That is a form of corruption that doesn't involve
Favors,
bribery.
yeah.
Yes, I
So how do you get me to pay as the Prime Minister under this legislation?
no, I'm just blown away with the quality of questions because everyone is so good. I can't believe it. Everyone is so good, and I got to think for each one.
And there's also financial manipulation as well, because
Yes,
you have
yeah.
statements, financial
Yes.
statements where someone may adjust them to
Alright.
produce a more
Please
favorable
don't overwhelm me, please, because
Go ahead,
they're really
sorry.
great stuff.
Just-
It's a pleasure, really, it's a pleasure responding to these. An absolute privilege. Those, let's say, all right, you have gotten a contract, regardless of how you got it. You got a contract. Then the value of that contract, what we're saying basically is, if you got every contract over $25,000 must be tendered in Barbados. Everyone.
Yes.
So if you were given $100 million, let's say $100,000 contract, then let's say it's construction then. Let's say it's construction. So you're given a $100,000 construction contract or a $10 million construction contract. The thing is already built. Whether it's a road or whether it's a building, it's already built. But what the fine will then be, you don't get any profit or overheads or preliminaries, which is basically you did it for free.
For free.
And
Okay.
that's the most equitable way we found of dealing with that,
Okay.
because the asset is already there. So we can't tell the fellow break up the road. We can't tell them knock down the building and pay back the money or whatever. So the easiest way is you're not going to get a benefit from it.
Right.
So you went and did it, fine, you did it, but there's no profit.
Okay.
There's no overheads because
Easy
people you can
assets.
easy because I'm a senior fellow in the profession. I understand these things, and I can understand they will hide their profits in their preliminaries. So no overheads, preliminaries, or profits.
Okay.
None.
All right. Well, look.
Yes.
I think
And if it is, and it could
Go
be
ahead,
that
go
we
ahead.
will decide, all right, there's no supervision cost either. Just in case you're going to hide it in the supervision cost, we will look at the contract and see what it is, and we will make sure that you got no benefit from it whatsoever.
All right, so guys, we gotta wrap up this thing
Yes.
because we pushed to 15 minutes, and the
Okay.
producer will soon want to kick us out of
Very
his
much.
studio. Thanks again to South Point Studios, but most importantly, thank you to our guest, Mr. Grenville Phillips. And although I know the discussion was very terse online because I've been here following it, I was listening to you because, as I told you, I'm both auditory and visual. Nonetheless, I want you guys to give yourself some hearts for really doing
Yes.
the damn thing today. You really were very good. And Grenville, thank you for being a very good representative for your party, for your system and whatnot. And we do invite you to come back onto the page whenever you can use money, or you can view it via Reality Weekends,
Yes.
and just comment and answer comments if
Yeah.
need be. It's actually a good start to a conversation. One person just endorsed you for being Prime Minister because they
Yes.
liked your practicality. No, of course, everybody differs on philosophy, but at least you're the first person to come in here and say A, B, C,
Yes.
D, result.
Given very specific
Very
details.
specific. So that was important for us.
But also online. What I've said just now, a lot of it is online.
Yeah.
So they can
You
look and see
actually
what
had
you found.
persons on the thread running to your site
Yeah.
to go and look for your
And looking
Oh,
for
very good.
people, it's generated a lot of discussion. Guys, I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor when you kill this feed. Now, I just saw that Dennis Kelman went live, so he shirked us today. I want you guys to do me a favor. Go on his live page and comment that he should have been here, although we had a
Yes.
great guest, and I'm not regretting this. This was
At all.
important. You
This
got, see all these hearts here? You know what I mean? This means that people love who you are.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So, but although we had a great guest
So there
today,
are bullets.
go on Dennis Kelman's live feed and tell him he should have been here today. There, he should have been here today because you wanted to see him. Thank you all for being here. We'll have a nice show for you next week, 2 nice shows, but we're going to get updated with the FUC ON competition. FUC ON calling for me because apparently he's heard the call.
Yes, he
and
has.
he's seriously considering. So see you all next week. Thank you to Crystal. Thank you to Richie and South Point Studios. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.
YouTube partner Reality Weekends presents
We're in there. We have an item in there. You tell us what you feel in there.
the all-new live Facebook game show where you can win cash and many different prizes weekly. All you gotta do is guess what's in the box.
First clue, local repairman should have one.
Then call or text the answer to win awesome prizes.
No, it's not a charger. No.
Sorry.
The more people to play, the more fun it gets.
We got the call.
She just won herself $50 voucher.
So tell your friends to log on to
WayneDidit.com.
and follow the Facebook page where we go live every week. So watch the show this week and guess.
We're in there. What in there?
Yep, good to go.
Do you need amazing aerial footage for your next video production or commercial? Do you need custom sky photos or videos for your real estate properties, music videos, events, or sporting activities? Then 246drones.com is the perfect solution for you. Buy instant downloadable, licensed aerial stock footage or book a custom aerial film package today. Visit us now at www.246drones.com. Services available in Miami and the Caribbean. Hey there! Do you have a business, product, or service that needs promoting? Well, the same way that you're seeing this commercial, thousands of others will too. This could be your business advertising right here. We can create your commercials as well as promote them heavily online. Book your commercial today by visiting www.southpointstudios.com or email us on realityweekends@gmail.com. Hey!
Welcome to the Express Bikini Store. Feel good in your swimwear from expressbikini.com. Log on to www.expressbikini.com. Follow us at facebook.com/expressbikini and on Instagram. Feel confident with expressbikini.com. Feel alive. Express Bikini. Love your body. Feel your soul.
Are you starting a new business or simply looking to boost your business? Well, look no further. BizNeeds is here for every need. Our team is here to provide you with signage, banners, flags, vehicle wraps, t-shirts, screen printing, graphic design, concept consultancy, and it keeps going. We have all you need at one stop. Quality you dream for the price you love. Call us today at 253-NEED. That's 253-6333. BizNeeds, where concepts come to